My name is Connie Spencer. I'm going to be doing a kind of a mini video series about sustainable gardening and also living a little bit more sustainably. I'd like to thank the King's Playhouse in Georgetown for making this happen. Super excited about it. So first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have been growing sustainably and organically for about 14 years. It's one of my biggest passions is to know where my food comes from and to make sure it hasn't been sprayed to death. I'm very passionate about how everything's grown. My farm name is Wee Rover Farm, and I live just outside of Murray River with my husband and my 2 daughters, and our 2 dogs and 2 cats who are being very, very good right now. So what is sustainable gardening? I've written down the definition. So by definition, it's the concept of using practices that cause no harm to the earth and its inhabitants while trying to enhance it. So basically do no evil, right? A few of these practices, pest control, so you get rid of your bad bugs by not spraying them with chemicals. Companion planting, so everything you grow has good and bad neighbors. And I'll touch on that a little bit more in a coming up episode. Creating ecosystems. So basically you want your growing space to be friendly to everything. You want the birds to come in. You want the good bugs to come in that will get rid of the bad ones. And last but not least, and it's very important, is your soil health. Everything depends on what you're planting into, what your roots are growing into. A lot of times we just stick fertilizer on and hope for the best, but earth and soil health is the most important part about gardening. So just quickly, I wanted to touch on, if you can't grow it yourself, can you buy it locally? Sustainability is more and more important right now because of our food chain supplies. First of all, we're not able to get everything that we want, and also costs. The cost of fruit and vegetables right now is insane. It's going through the roof. So if you can't grow it yourself, here are a few things that just make sense, like why it's good to buy local. Basically, the first one is you are using less fossil fuels. So it takes less time to get to you. Things aren't being put on an airplane and then a truck for thousands of miles and having to be refrigerated the whole time. Like I can't even imagine how much fossil fuels are being burned just to get food to us. Another big thing is that if you're supporting local, you're supporting your local inhabitants. So your bees, your birds, your butterflies, everything in your area is being supported. Your product that you would get locally is so much more nutrient filled, fresher. I mean, it's just, chances are if you go to a farmer's market, that tomato that you're buying was picked that morning or maybe the day before, at the most. So you know you're getting the best. And last but not least, you're supporting local families. So you're paying for that piano lesson. Something I wanted to talk to you about, years ago, there was this awesome book that was put out. It was called The 100 Mile Diet. And they made it into a TV show. I think it was on CBC, and it was called the 100-Mile Challenge. And it was this couple from BC. They had families sign up for it, and for 100 days they had to eat nothing but what was in 100 miles of where they lived. So quite difficult for some things, but you would be surprised. Like, it's way easier than you think. If you buy seasonally, even if you tried to do a percentage of local, it's so good. I would never be able to give up coffee and chocolate. Sorry, my cat's coming in. That's two things that I'd just never be able to give up. But there's people that roast coffee on PEI, so you can always support coffee that's roasted here. And we've got a couple of amazing chocolatiers on PEI. So if you make it a point to go and buy their chocolate that's locally made, and they're supporting sustainable, eco-friendly, grown chocolate, it's just a neat concept, especially this summer. I know, well, we grow a lot of our own food, but it's something that I try to do, especially like for Thanksgiving. We try to grow all of our own vegetables for Thanksgiving every year, and we outsource a local turkey. Or something like, if you're just starting to grow yourself, something fun to do is just say, I'm going to grow everything to make my own batch of salsa this summer. It could be the smallest things, and it just means so much. It just means so much. There's this fantastic saying. It's one of my favorite sayings. It says, gardening is cheaper than therapy, and you end up with tomatoes. It's very true. The health benefits of gardening and growing your own food are too many to list. I've found it just such a saving grace in the last few years with all of the craziness going on, that I can just walk out and sit and watch the bees and the birds and watch my own food grow, or send my kids out to go pick the carrots for supper that night. Speaking of, it's so important for kids to know where their food comes from. And over the next few weeks, if you can get your kids involved in this, like, we're going to be starting seeds and showing you how to grow things. It'd be so much fun. Get your kids involved. Okay, so I want to say thank you again to the King's Playhouse, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much in this video. I look forward to the next few weeks. Our next video is going to be about seeds, dirt, and containers. So what seeds to pick, what to grow them in. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you soon.